Let me start my recorder. Give folks a minute to come in.
Come here. Come here.
Yo. And there we go. Turn my phone off so it doesn't beep all fucking night. All right. All right, gentlemen, you ready?
Yep.
All right, here we go. Welcome into the latest edition of the Rob, Comrade, and Kale Show. I am Rob Sanders, your host. I represent the Clemson Tigers on this podcast. Winners of 2 out of the last 4 national championships. I have 2 co-hosts. One is, of course, Vladimir Putin's water boy. He fixed the 2016 election. He is the comrade, Mike Dobretsky. Mike, good evening, sir.
It is good to be here once again. I'm still doing my part to flatten the curve. No vacations for me or unnecessary vacations or trips on private planes. Thank you.
All right. And since that's all he's going to bring to the show, I also have a gentleman that, God, you say the dumbest stuff sometimes. I also have a gentleman that, for some reason, someone posted a picture of him next to the Tiger King. I have no clue what the hell that means. But welcome into the show, Cale Hall. Cale, good evening.
It's good to be here. Yeah, I'm not sure about the Tiger King reference thing. Yeah, I'll have to go check that one out.
Yeah,
it sounds amazing.
It's
but
Tiger King, Cale.
Just me with it. I mean, I add an aura of amazement to it.
In Cale's defense, though, he did come back with a unbelievable meme in return of a fella that let's just say that this young man likes to get upset a lot. He likes make fat jokes too a lot. Yet he shouldn't make fat jokes. I want to say I'm not going to judge people. Just if you're going to make fat jokes, you might want to make sure that you yourself are in shape. You know, that's all I'm going to say.
So let's make sure that everybody understands. I didn't do that. So
no. It's not. No, it's not somebody else.
The show, but
we have not heard from him since Cal posted that picture return, and I have a feeling that he will be. I'm surprised he's not in your inbox yet, Rob, because that's not really he'll
be.
I may post the picture that Cal posted in the other room as a thread starter, just so he'll inbox you, Rob. You see what you're gonna take that down. I may do it tonight. Just when I keep you up all night.
It's going to get worse too, since we added Cale to the show. I'm preparing for football season, and I'll tell you why. There is a grand section of Clemson fans that absolutely freaking despise the comrade, and then there's a section of Clemson fans that really get upset with Cale. Now, the majority of them like Cale, okay, but it's funny because I know during football season I'm going to need therapy. Because I'll have people messaging me things like, my wife has cancer and the comrade called her out on it. Or Cale said motherfucker 8 times on the podcast and I don't know how to deal with it.
He was drinking. He's not professional.
He was drinking on the podcast. Not that he's not in his own fucking house, but that's what I'll deal with this off season, or once we get into the season, as our podcast continues to grow with folks. All right. So we do have a couple of sponsors. Callaway's Bar and Grill out in West Columbia is still open. Go by and check them out. Order your food. Have it field day squared away, ready to go. Julie, Billy, all those guys over at Callaway's will take care of you. And we're playing trivia again on Saturday night. Be sure to get involved with that. There are certain people that cheat in trivia. I know who you are. I figured it out. I'll share that with you later.
Driver.
There are people that are cheating. in trivia. It's
Is it the same person who we just referenced a little while ago?
maybe.
Same?
Maybe. Let's put it like this. There are 7 questions in each trivia round. Okay. If you have a problem on Facebook stringing together 12 words to make a sentence, you shouldn't get 20 of the 21 questions correct. Sorry. It just shouldn't be that way. All right. There are people that are cheating, and I know that's part of it. Don't cheat. Play social distance trivia with us on Saturday night.
Please tell me it's not the fisherman.
Maybe not. I'm not putting the name out there. Look at Beth and Jonathan over here on Facebook. It ain't me. Beth's like it wasn't me. No,
I think
it was not Beth.
I think you're driving your point home.
I hope so.
Crisply.
In a very crisp way.
Home.
I'm crisply driving it right into the world here.
Some people cheat. People want to cheat to get into the driver's seat.
And the funny thing is, you're cheating to win some Fine Calloway's food and some toilet paper. That's what you win. While you're sitting there Googling, screwing up the game for everybody else. So Saturday, if I think you're cheating, I'm just going to boot you. Simple as that. I don't care what it happens. I'm going to boot you. That's just the way it's going to be. All right. We also have DNC Trucking and Transport, the No Spin Zone segment with the Comrade. Read away.
I haven't even looked at this yet. Hold on. Oh, Lord.
Uh-oh.
It sucks to be a Gamecock. I love 2 men on this planet, Will Muschamp and Donald Trump. I also have a huge gay crush on Dabo Sweeney. I have so many gay thoughts about him, even though I am so far in the closet of having adventures with Narnia. I'm not sure what that is. Remember, Gamecock fans, November is coming. We have to go to Clemson, and that will be another embarrassing loss. It sucks to be a Gamecock. Go Tigers.
That message courtesy of Dennis Wilson, DNC Trucking and Transport. We appreciate that. That's a reference to the Chronicles of Narnia, going through the closet, Comrade. You have to go all the way to the back. Did you read the Chronicles of Narnia?
No, I'm not.
Of course not. They don't get you shit up in New York. Fucking carpetbagger.
I don't remember that at all.
Anyway, tonight they released the over and under for the SEC. And we're going to go through each team real quick here this evening. And we're going to pick the over and under for them. The way it's going to be, gentlemen, it's really cool. I've got the schedule in front of me. So when we pick the each team, I'll tell you quickly who's on their schedule, and then you can tell me their over and under. Does that make sense?
Oh, we can say push too, right? Because some are pushes. Some are kind of push. I mean, like, I hate to be boring, but like,
you want to go put.
I also have them pulled.
Yeah,
up
unless
I
have a number, obviously. What's that, Kale?
So I also have them pulled up here as well. So
same here as me as well. I got it all pulled up. We're prepared.
All right.
So, right.
I'm sure you are. So we'll start with
empty bullets to a gunfight.
That's right.
We'll start with the Georgia Bulldogs. The Bulldogs schedule this year. They play Virginia and Atlanta, then East Tennessee, on the road at Alabama, Louisiana Monroe, Vanderbilt. That's in Athens. They also have Auburn in Athens. They go to Missouri. They play Florida in Jacksonville. They play South Carolina in Columbia. They play Tennessee in Athens. They go to Lexington to play Kentucky. And then Georgia Tech is at home. 10 wins is the over and under for the Georgia Bulldogs. Kale, are they going over, under, or are you going to give them a push?
I say they go under. I don't think they're going to get Florida this year. I think the Alabama game, I see a loss there. I could see them losing to Auburn. And much as it pains me to say it, I hate to give them any credit. Tennessee's been coming around lately, and they're bound to beat a Georgia or Florida here pretty soon. And yeah, I don't know. This game is in Athens, though, so that's a stretch. But I think they lose to either Auburn. I think they're losing to Alabama. I think they're losing to Florida, and I mean, they could lose one to the field there too. So I'm going with the under.
All right, let me pick mine first real quick here. First of all, I want to call out SEC Dog over in the chat room. You know nothing about fucking football. Let's make sure we understand that. Your team hasn't won shit since 1981. We have 2 national titles since then. Go fuck your cousin and shut up.
Oh, someone's mad.
God.
You got under Rob.
Shut up, Mike.
He's picking on the Clemson schedule. That's all you saw.
Oh, you make fun of the.
Then we've got on this front, I've got Georgia at 10. 10 flat out. I think they win 10, and that is it. So there you go. Comrade, what do you got?
Well, this is, if I had with real money, I would not bet on this over and under because I think it will probably be a push 10-2. But if you had told me a gun to my head, you had to pick over or under, I'm leaning with Cal and under, and mainly because given that there's no spring practice and given that they have a brand new quarterback coming in who's a very different kind of quarterback, I think this whole coronavirus hurts Georgia more than most teams. Bama and week 3 at Bama is not going to be pretty because I think, especially early in the year. Auburn, Florida, maybe they pushed on those 2 games there. They split those 2 games. That gives them 2 losses for sure. And, so that's why I think it's probably 10 wins. But then they got to go to Williams-Brice Stadium. And, and we got a fullback, bro. We got a fullback. Not sure if we knew that. Fullback now. So I think more than likely it looks like 9-3 if I had to bet, but probably 10-2 in that range or 2. But I think the coronavirus, that's be a topic with next week. Which program does the coronavirus hurt the most? I think Georgia's up there because of having a new quarterback in there and everything of that. So I'm gonna go push with a shade to the under. How about that?
Well, I'm going push as well, but it also wouldn't surprise me if they went 8-4, just because fuck their fans. Florida,
is it true? Auburn lobbied to the SEC to get their schedule changed around so that they wouldn't have to play Georgia and Alabama at the end of the year.
Well, here's that they did, but see, this is the thing: when stupid ass fans run their mouth about the Clemson schedule, let's look at the Georgia schedule. First of all, you haven't played Alabama in 5 fucking years. So this year, you finally have to play Alabama. Also, it's a neutral site game for Florida every year in Jacksonville. Okay? Then you have a neutral site game with Virginia. Stop it. You also play, here's the rest of your non-conference schedule. East Tennessee, Louisiana Monroe, and Georgia Tech. You don't have another Power 5 team that you're doing a home-and-home schedule with. Clemson's doing that. Clemson's doing that this year. Are you doing that, Georgia fans? No, you're not. You're banking on the fact that you have to play Alabama for the first time in 5 years, even though you use that as, we play in the SEC. You sit around in your circle jerk, and you're a worthless team. Make sure you understand this, too. Kirby Smart is not worth a shit. I'm going to say, I'll put this out there right now. I would rather have Will Muschamp coaching my team than Kirby Smart. And I'll tell you,
did outcoach him. He did outcoach him last year.
Had all of these number 1 classes that Georgia had, I guarantee you, he probably would have parlayed that into something better than what Kirby Smart has. You're a fraud. You haven't won shit since 1981. You're not even an elite blue blood anymore.
You won shit in 1981. They won it in 19. They won shit.
Whatever. 1980, the last time they won it. Herschel Walker was on that team. Was Herschel Walker on that team? You haven't been relevant since fucking Herschel Walker. Shut up. When Clemson plays you in Charlotte next year, they're going to beat the fuck out of you. Write that down. Take a picture. Okay? Kentucky may finish ahead of you in the East. Stupid ass Georgia fans.
Shout out to Clemson Tigers Nation. I want to give a shout out now. Listen.
Sure.
I will commend people. Okay? This Clemson Tiger fan, he knows that Clemson has 3 national titles in football. And you would think that, well, who doesn't? But I have seen Clemson fans here recently on Facebook say, let me know when you get 2 national titles in football. I'm like, you have 3, right?
Good point.
I'm like, so I can commend you. You've been a fan for a while. I commend you. Thank you. That's fun. I want to give credit to people.
Shut up.
You have 10 people who've been fans for at least 20 years.
Is at 10 wins. Kale, over or under with Florida at 10 wins? If you look at their schedule, Florida plays Eastern Washington. Kentucky's at home. They don't leave the state until September the 26th when they play Tennessee. South Carolina, that's a bye week in Gainesville there. Then they play LSU in Gainesville. Ole Miss at Oxford. Georgia in Jacksonville. They go to Nashville. Mizzou comes there. Then they've got New Mexico State and Florida State. So 10 wins, Kale, over and under there.
Let's look at this. It's pondering here.
It's pondering.
I'm going to go with a push on that.
Yeah.
Simply because LSU at home, you got a stretch of games there. You're at Tennessee, Gamecocks, LSU, all there in a row. That could be tough. I know everybody thinks LSU's not going to be worth the shit this year because the offensive guru went to the Panthers, wherever it went. But this team has finished in the top 5. I think they finished number 5, maybe in 2019 and 2020 in recruiting. Pulled in like 3 or 4 or 5 stars each year. So I don't think the talent level there is going to drop off as much as some people think. It may level off a bit, but that's going to be a tough one for them. Of course, the Georgia game, I'm banking on Florida taking the win in this one this year. I just think it's time. I think that they got it figured out more. So Mike was talking about the new quarterback coming in at Georgia that runs a totally different type system than what they're used to. That could give them some problems this year. And there's just more continuity there with the Gators. I think they get Georgia this year. This game at Ole Miss is intriguing to me. I'm a big fan of the Ole Miss quarterback, John Reese Plumlee, dual threat kid. Should be a sophomore this year. And I think he's absolutely going to explode under Lane Kiffin. So I could see that being a game that really gives the Gators some problems. So I'm going to go with a push on that one too. At that, I just think it's hard to find a loss here. But I think you lose one to the field somewhere. I think you lose 2 to the field.
All right, Mike, you got them at 10. What do you think?
I think they have one of the easier SEC schedules. One, they don't play anybody out of conference worth a damn. I mean, FSU, as I said, not worth a damn. And then, but I think they're going to lose one game, okay? And here's what I'm telling you. They're going to lose. They have a gauntlet of Tennessee, Carolina, LSU. They're going to lose either the Carolina game or the LSU game. Either they're going to lose to us because they're looking ahead to LSU, or they'll lose to LSU because we beat the crap out of them, but the referees gave them the win. So they're going to lose one of those games right there. I think they go 11-1. I think they escape a few games. I already told you. I think they beat Georgia because of I'm not confident in Georgia's new quarterback and all that stuff there too. So I think they lose 1. I can't see them losing 2. I like LSU because everybody in the world thinks they're going to be crap this year. So that wouldn't shock me if LSU went into Florida and beat them. But so listen, they have a tough 3-game stretch there. Tennessee, Carolina, LSU. I don't see them coming out of that without losing a game. At Tennessee, they'll probably handle them. But that's 3 straight weeks in a row You're playing 3 SEC teams. No breaks in there. No cupcakes in there. I can see him doing that. Then at Ole Miss, maybe, as Kel said. But I'm going to go, 11-1 for Florida.
So you've got the over?
I'm going to go over.
Yeah, I'm going to go over too. I don't see a loss on their schedule. They're going to smack Georgia in the face. They'll smack South Carolina around. The 2 tough games are Tennessee and.
Stop saying you're going to smack us around. And even the referees last year.
They'll smack us around the whole 50 yards.
Smack us around with a flag. With
you
zebras.
Lost to stop it. But I think Florida's going 12-0. 12-0 will the Gators go.
Their schedule is really manageable, though.
Next up.
Shout out to Bartholomew.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Over on YouTube. Thank you for the kind.
I mean, their schedule is 10 times easier than our schedule is. It's not even funny.
I think that they have the easiest schedule. First of all, they play in the East. I mean,
please
it's pretty much
you can't talk about easy schedule. Please don't mock divisions you play in the ACC. Please don't. You look stupid doing that. You look dumb.
You know what? When you say stuff like that, I want you to realize something.
You look dumb when you talk about divisions and you play in a crap ass conference.
You're talking. You're shitting on the SEC East, but then you're sitting here on one hand telling us how great Kentucky is, how they
are.
Everybody's
and Tennessee's for real.
Tennessee's on the rise. Florida's going.
Your listening skills are
off
tonight. Your listening skills are off tonight. Check your battery.
Who sucks in the East? Who sucks in the East?
See which one
South Carolina sucks.
Okay.
With a big donkey dick.
No.
Yeah, they do. Vanderbilt sucks.
Okay.
With a big
2 teams.
Dick. Missouri sucks with a big donkey dick. Depends on what you're talking about as far
Missouri would win the AC. Probably win the AC division over there. Be the favorites.
Look, I will value your opinion on what the.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell them
during the past 5 seasons, every team that Clemson has played in the ACC has played Clemson closer than South Carolina.
Have they set offensive records against you? Anybody in the ACC?
It doesn't matter.
Have they? Have they embarrassed Brent Venables? Have they made Brent Venables say, "Man, I got out coached today"?
I understand.
Did any ACC team make it feel like you lost to them? Did it make Dabble going to rant on his fan base saying, "I'm sick of this, feeling like we lost"? Did you have to go ahead and score a meaningless touchdown late? I mean, I'm just wondering. Go ahead.
By a ton. You were there. You
I was there. Yeah, I was there. And Deebo Samuel, I'm going to tell you right now, Deebo Samuel should be president of this country. And want to know why? Because even back then, he knew the importance of social distancing. He did not let a Clemson defensive back get near him because he knew the pandemic was coming. Okay, that's a dude right there. If he was in the White House right now, we'd be playing baseball right now because he knew even back then social distancing was important. A Clemson DB didn't get near him that game. That game. Okay,
and that's all fine, but the reality is it's hard to get up for teams that are basically so Tennessee is picked at 7. I think the Vols are winning 8. I'll take the over. Comrade, over or under?
Hold on, let me pull up the crappy ass schedule. All right, Tennessee. I'm gonna play Oklahoma. They play Oklahoma. Okay, sure. Here's the thing. So I have them pushing here. They're going to lose 5 games. They're going to lose to Oklahoma. They're losing to Georgia. They're losing to Bama. Losing to Florida. That's 4. Okay, and then they're going to lose either to us or Kentucky. And here's the other thing, too. I could see them slipping up against Troy. I could see them laying an egg versus Troy. I know a team a few years ago that should have lost Troy too, but the referees intervened.
Sure.
Intervened. Oh, no, he was down.
All these things you talk about.
He didn't fumble it. The ball was on his shoulder pad, but it wasn't. He was down. His forward progress was stopped. So, you know what? I'm going to go. I think they go 7-5. But I'm going to go a little push down there.
Kale, over, under, or push with Tennessee at 7?
I'm going to go with the under on that. I see 6 losses here on the schedule.
I can see it.
I'm taking the Oklahoma, Florida losses. Alabama is a loss. Georgia. I don't think they're winning in Williams-Brice, and I think they dropped one to Arkansas on Halloween. Yeah, I think Arkansas gets that SEC victory this year.
They did make a coaching upgrade.
They did.
Missouri is at 7. They over and under for Mizzou on the season is at 7. Their non-conference schedule is just kind of a shit show.
As always.
Yeah, they don't schedule anybody. Central Arkansas, then on the road, they at home with Vanderbilt. They come to Columbia, South Carolina, and then they've got Eastern Michigan at home, followed by Tennessee on the road. They go to BYU. That doesn't make much sense. Then welcome in Georgia and Kentucky, followed by a bye week. Then Mississippi State on the road, Florida in Gainesville. That's interesting. After October 31st, they've got one home game left. After October 24th, they have one home game left, and that is with Louisiana Lafayette on November the 21st. Then they play Arkansas in Kansas City. I guess they're playing them at Arrowhead. Mike, do you know about that?
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
What a shit show that is. 7 wins. I think it will be tough for Mizzou, even though I think Eli Drinkowitz is going to be a pretty good coach there. They do have Roundtree back, and he is a coach that likes to run the ball a good bit, and I think Roundtree is going to have a pretty good season. Look for him to be one of the SEC backs that makes a lot of the preseason teams, like second or third team. But I think they win 5 games, not 7, 5 games.
First of all, here, trivia question real quick. Trivia question for the people watching right now. I'm going to give you a prize if you win this, okay? Who is the most famous athlete to come out of Central Arkansas, the team that Missouri opens up with this season? Most famous athlete. Anyone know? Anyone know? Anyone know? Anyone know?
Give him a minute. Tell us the over/under. What do you got?
I have more over. I think they won 8 games this year. Not because I think they're great, but their schedule is piss poor. I mean, I'm trying to find losses here. Georgia, yes, they'll lose to Georgia. They'll lose to Florida. That's 2 losses, right? They probably lose to the Gamecocks. Let's be honest. All right, and then that's really I see 3. Tennessee. I'm not sold on Tennessee. May lose to Tennessee. That's 4. I can't find another loss. I can't find
to BYU and win.
They may lose to BYU, but then they may go ahead and knock off like Tennessee though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they could, but I see 8-4. It screams 8-4 to me. It just screams 8-4 to me. I like their coach too, but it's not really. I think they're great. It's because their schedule does not look real daunting. I wish we had that schedule. Good Lord, give us that schedule. We'd be freaking going to the Gator Bowl. We still might go, but it's insane.
What do you
okay, any questions? Oh, very good. William Darnell. William Darnell. Good job, William Darnell. Scottie Pippen. That is correct. Central Arkansas. Scottie Pippen of the Chicago Bulls. Nicely done, William Darnell. I'm going to give you. What's the highest compliment I can give you, William Darnell? You remind me of myself as a young lad. That's it. That's it right there.
Jesus
That's
Christ.
the prize.
KL, over or under on that, my friend? Mizzou.
I'm going with a push there. I mean, this non-conference schedule is softer than baby shit, but some of their games, you got some tough road games in the conference. I don't see them winning at Florida. I don't see them beating Georgia. I don't see them beating Tennessee either. They lost to Tennessee at home last year. There's another loss. I don't see them beating the Gamecocks. I mean, let's just be real. They're going to get some revenge for that one last year as well. And then you've got a couple here at BYU, at Mississippi State. I think they split those. I think they win one, lose one. If I had my druthers, I say they go on the road and lose to Mississippi State. I think the Pirate takes down the upstart Drinkowitz in that game.
All right, so you've got them over, Kale? Is that what you're saying?
I'm willing to push on that. The rest of those games look manageable.
Up next is Kentucky. They are at 6.5. So obviously there is no push here. Comrade, you go first. Kentucky has Eastern Michigan. Eastern Michigan followed by Florida. Goddamn. Florida, Kent State, then South Carolina in Lexington. They go to Auburn. Then they welcome in Eastern Illinois and Vandy. Go on the road to Mizzou, play Tennessee and Knoxville, Mississippi State at home, Georgia at home, Louisville on the road.
All right, so they got 3 guaranteed losses: Florida, Auburn, and Georgia, and a likely loss against the Gamecocks. So let's just go right there. Right there, they got 4 losses right away. Out of the hat, 4 losses. What's it? 6.5? Is there open under?
6.5.
4 losses. You know, I like their coach. I think I don't like him as much as you do because you love him. I think they go 7-5. I think they go over. I don't see a 6th loss in there.
Kale, your pick for Kentucky at 6-5 or 6.5, over or under?
I am going to lean slightly. It hinges on this Louisville game. I'm going to lean over as much as I don't want to. Their non-con schedule, other than the Louisville game, another one softer than baby shit. Did they beat Louisville last year? I can't remember.
I don't remember.
Didn't they kill them? They killed Louisville last year.
Okay.
They killed because somebody who was it? Was it Tomlinson or no? It was Nick Merritt saving the world right now. Nick Merritt said no, it was not. It was Marson. No, it was Marson Gale. Someone came out and said that Louisville. No, it was Austin Powell. God, I'm sorry. Austin Powell, that's who it was, said that Kentucky had no chance against Louisville, and I believe Kentucky blew them out. I believe that was this past year. All the days run together again. So anyway.
Yeah, well, the crazy thing is, as you can see, Kentucky beat the ever-living.
Yeah, that's what I thought, yeah. By the way, Amanda Morton says you won't know that unless you love Scottie Pippen. Amanda Morton, I'm a New York Knicks fan. And back when Scottie Pippen played, the Knicks were relevant, and the Bulls used to crush my dreams. So I do not like Scottie Pippen. I loathe him.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to argue any of that, Comrade. Because you don't want him to get the corona.
He'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Oh, my God.
He'll be
fine. Kentucky at 6.5. When I look at their schedule, the only clear-cut losses that I see, I think that they will have they'll probably come up short against Georgia at home. I think they lose on the road in Knoxville, and I think they lose at Auburn, and I think they lose at Florida. I think they win out on the rest. So I've got them at 8-4. So I've got the over. Up next for our picks here for the over and under. These are from Caesar Sportsbook, by the way. South Carolina is at 5-5. I'll go first. Looking at the South Carolina schedule, they play Coastal Carolina, East Carolina, and then Missouri the first 3 weeks of the season, all at home. Then they have Kentucky on the road and then go to Gainesville and then come home for Tennessee, followed by the bye week, then Texas A&M at home, Vanderbilt on the road, Georgia at home, LSU on the road, Wofford at home, and then Clemson on the road. Games they don't have a shot in hell of winning include Clemson, LSU. Georgia's going to beat their face in for last year.
Don't even say it. Had no shot beating Georgia. Don't even say it. You said it last year too, okay? And then you cried for 3 months straight over hedges being eaten.
How are you so upset?
How dare they? How dare
Cried
they?
over a hedge trimming fluke.
Right. It was a fluke. And that's why, since it was a fluke, they're going to beat you senseless. Let me finish with mine, then you can talk about how great your Gamecocks.
Let's hope this new quarterback can complete a forward pass to the correct team, or maybe a repeat of last year.
Why? I'm going to do mine, then you can talk about how great your Gamecocks are. Calm down, boys. Calm down. It's okay. All right. Guaranteed wins. I've got them beating Coastal. East Carolina. Mizzou is at 3. Vanderbilt is at 4. And Wofford is at 5. So I will take the under for South Carolina.
You are the worst.
Why am I the worst?
I'm just saying. Whatever. That's fine.
Go ahead and go on the record.
That's fine. You don't understand the importance of a fullback, apparently.
Get the fuck out of here. Cale, are you winning more than 5 games, or are you going under? Over or under 5?
I'm going over. I'm going over that. I think in addition to those 5 that you named off already, I think South Carolina gets Texas A&M finally after coming off the bye week. That would be a 6th win. I think South Carolina takes down Tennessee 7 and Kentucky for 8. I think we're going 8-4.
Gator Bowl, Jacksonville. All right, so let me break it down.
That's no bullshit. I mean,
we beat Coastal. We start off Coastal, East Carolina, Missouri, Kentucky. It's 4-0 right there. We're 4-0. We're ranked, okay, and people are talking about playoffs. Okay, I think we lose to Florida. Okay, I think they beat us. Maybe that there'll be some justice happens at Florida and we play horrible. Yeah, we get all the breaks and the calls. Maybe Florida has like 8 injuries before the game starts. Okay, and they go, oh, we got a bad break. And say, yeah, it's called karma from last year. So maybe it happens. Well, honestly, we lose that one. 4-1. Tennessee we beat because Jeremy Pruitt's a shit show and it's time to get revenge on that. 5-1. Against A&M, I would love to see we beat A&M, but I've never seen us beat A&M. Okay, I can't foresee something I've never seen happen before. I hope it happens. I think we could beat them. We probably lose. I'm trying to be realistic here. We probably lose at 5-2. At Vanderbilt, we beat them probably 17-16 because, dear Lord, 6-2. Georgia, you know what? Georgia probably beats us. I will be a little bit honest on this a little bit. We did get some breaks last year against the Georgia. Got a few breaks. We still beat them. We got a lot of things went right in that game. It probably won't all go right this game. I think we play them tough, though. I think we cover the spread. I don't know what the spread is. It'll probably be high. I think we cover the spread. We lose that one there. So that's what? 3 losses I got there? That's 3 losses. LSU, I think LSU, I mean, we're not used to playing in Death Valley. Let's be honest with you. We haven't played in Death Valley in years. I haven't played in a place called Death Valley. And the last time we did it, it didn't go well. So we don't play well in places called Death Valley. I mean, we only play in Death Valley once every several years. So I think we lose that one there. That's 4. Wofford, we play a tough ball game and probably beat them by 3. Let's be honest. So we do against Wofford. And, Clemson, listen. Is Dabo going to be coaching the game? Is he on vacation with a private jet? I don't know. We probably lose that game. Okay? So 7-5 right there. I have it is what I have it. Definitely the over. I could see 8-4. The A&M game. I could see that. Cale's got the A&M game as a win. I don't think A&M is very good this year. I just haven't seen us ever beat A&M before. Maybe we're due. So we'll do that thing. So I want to go 7-5. The over though. Clearly the over. I'm taking that.
All right. So there you go. There's some comedy, ladies and gentlemen. I won't even dive into that stupidity. People are calling Cale Hall a meth head. Hilarious.
Maybe
so. Balls they'll beat us by 20. My Lord. Is Peyton Manning putting your nuts on your chin? What's going on? Good Lord.
Vanderbilt's at 3. Vanderbilt starts the season at home with Mercer. This is not a joke. They go on the road in Missouri. They're
playing Nate Mercer?
What's that?
They're playing Nate Mercer? Good Lord.
Good Lord. Missouri and then Kansas State on the road, followed by Colorado State at home, Georgia in Athens, Ole Miss. They will play them in Nashville, followed by going to Kentucky. They have South Carolina at home, Florida at home, on the road at College Station. Then they finish out the season with Louisiana Tech and Tennessee. 3 wins on that schedule. I think that's going to be hard. I think they win 2 games. So I got them beating Mercer and maybe Colorado State. Colorado State's got, Mike Bobo left them as a shithole. If you want some comedy there, Clemson fans, go and read some of the shit he said there. And, Will Muschamp giving him basically a retirement job here, get some money built up in his last season at South Carolina. But I think they beat Colorado State, and I think they beat Mercer. So give me the under. What do you got, Cale?
I'm gonna take the over here. I see wins in the 3 that you mentioned, and wait a minute here. Okay, we got Mercer and Colorado State should be wins there. Mm-hmm. I think they beat Louisiana Tech at home. Louisiana Tech actually shut out Miami in a bowl game last year. In case we have any Hurricane fans on, they like to lurk around sometime on these live streams. Your team sucks, but the players on that team, most of those that are gone, that were a factor in that. I think they beat Louisiana Tech, and I think they win one SEC game somewhere on the schedule. Even as shitty as they were last year, they still managed to win against Missouri. And did they beat Kentucky? No, they lost to Kentucky. Missouri was up. Yep, they still managed to pull out a win there. I could see them beating Missouri. I could see them knocking off Kentucky, possibly. So give me the over on that, and keep my fingers crossed.
Comrade, what you got? Over and under 3?
I'm kind of going push. I think they get Mercer for sure. I think Colorado State, having a big drop-off in coaching, I think that hurts them. They're going from a great offensive mind like Bobo to whatever they have next. So I think that's a struggle there. I think they beat Louisiana Tech. I'm going to go with the push. It wouldn't shock me if they beat like an Ole Miss, though. Lane Kiffin, I think it's going to be a crap show down there. It wouldn't shock me. Or if they upset Tennessee. That's up there too. But I'm going to go with the push with 3 right there. But it wouldn't shock me if they pulled off one more game to get that 4 wins.
Another thing about them is you don't know. You don't know. When they won 6 games, whatever it was, a few years ago, and had a really good team, you didn't know who Jared Pinkney was. You didn't know who Kalijah Lipscomb was. You didn't know who really Keyshawn Vaughn was. You didn't know who what's the damn quarterback's name? God.
Yeah.
What's his damn name? Anyway, you didn't know who
he was so glad I forgot him
until they started meshing together there. And
True. Yeah.
What was his name? I can't think of
it. I'm trying to remember it, Cale, but he was like, Comrade, his dad was like a coach. Wasn't his dad a coach for some pro team or some shit? I don't remember.
What's his name? God, what is his name? It's on the tip of my tongue.
I will Google it and find out for you in just a moment, Cale. Let's move on to Alabama. They've got them at 10.5. Alabama's schedule is the typical Alabama bitch schedule. Don't schedule home and homes. Play a site games. Southern Cal in Arlington, Texas makes no sense. Then our home openers, Georgia State, followed by Georgia, Kent State at home. Then they go on the road to Ole Miss. They play Arkansas in Fayetteville, Mississippi State in Tuscaloosa, Tennessee on the road in Knoxville. They go to Baton Rouge after a bye week. Then they have UT Martin, Texas A&M, and Auburn. 10.5. I'm going to go with I think I'm going to take the over because I think that I really like the fact that they're getting the guy back that the linebacker that got injured, Dylan Moses, he's coming back, and I think that's going to make a big difference. They had 4 freshmen start on the defensive line last year. 4 of the 7 guys actually played significant minutes for Alabama. They're all going to be sophomores this year. I think Alabama's going to have a good year, so I'll take the over. Kale, what you got? Over or under 10.5?
I'm going to go over as well. I think that Saban will be looking to prove something here with this squad. Once again, another team. You do play USC on the road, or excuse me, a neutral site game there to open up the season. But the non-con schedule is really manageable after that. Not that I think USC is going to present a huge challenge for Alabama. I would go with the over as well in that one.
Comrade, 10.5, over or under?
They play 3 teams that could beat them: Georgia, Auburn, and LSU. Okay, the Georgia game I don't like because early in the year we kind of mentioned already that Georgia may be okay at the end of the year, but I think they're going to struggle early in the year, so they're going to beat that game there. That leaves LSU and Auburn. I'm a little bit higher in LSU than you are, I think, but I think they probably get that one. They're definitely going to. At worst, they split LSU Auburn, so I'm going to go over 2. They probably go 11-1. It wouldn't shock me they go 12-0. I don't see them losing 2 games. I can't find 2 games on that schedule where they lose.
So we both agree on the over. I think the only loss only chance for a loss, in my opinion, is probably. I'm thinking if you told me they had to lose one, I'd probably say Auburn, but they don't lose. You know what? If you look at the head-to-head matchup on that, they have like streaks of 4 and 5 in a row. You don't see very many years where Auburn beats them. It's kind of weird, kind of a weird series. So we're all on the over train with Alabama. Texas A&M is at 9.5. I'll go first on this one. Texas A&M. When you look at their schedule, Texas A&M. Make sure I give you the full rundown on that. They play Abilene Christian. Anybody know what the mascot is for the Abilene Christian? Is it the Fighting Christians? I hope so.
I think it's Jesus.
You think it's Jesus? Yeah. Then they play North Texas, and then Colorado, then Arkansas in Arlington, Mississippi State in Starkville, Fresno State at College Station, Auburn at Auburn, South Carolina on the road, Ole Miss at College Station. Then they play Vandy at home, Alabama on the road, LSU at home. 9.5, I think, is high for a couple of reasons. Jimbo Fisher, I think the shine is off of him. And, the story where he married a stripper who also made him pay to get her name legally changed to her stripper name. That's a real story. And then he's upset because she decided to have sex with a Florida trainer, and it sent him all the way to Texas. Now he has a 10-gallon hat that he's probably going to be taking a crap in. I'll take the under with Texas A&M.
Yeah, so 3 losses means that they go under, right? So Auburn's a loss, Bama's a loss, LSU's a loss. So right there, that's 9-3. We must be 4. It wouldn't shock me if the Gamecocks got them. I'm picking the good Gamecocks, but I think 9-3 is probably the best they're going to do in that scenario. So I'm taking the under as well. I think they're a little bit overrated, A&M.
Dale, your name starts with a C. It's not like Candy, which starts with a K and ends with an I. That's his wife's name. What have you got, Kale? Over or under?
I'm going to take the under also. This team always fails to live up to expectations.
All right.
Always. Interesting story there about Abilene Christian, and one of those shoot interviews from way back in the day when Dusty Rhodes was talking about how he played baseball in college, I think at West Texas State or somewhere. He was talking about them and said that they that he hit a home run against them, and one of the kids cursed at him, and he thought it was funny that he was getting cursed out by the Christian boys. That's a true story.
David online says over and under if the season even starts. I think the season's going to start. We're picking this as if the season would start, David. So there you go with that. LSU is at 9. The LSU schedule, looking at it, they play UTSA, the Roadrunners in Baton Rouge, Texas at home. Then they play Rice in Houston, followed by Ole Miss at home, Nicholls State at home. They play in Gainesville, in Fayetteville, then come home to play Mississippi State. Then they welcome in Alabama after a bye week, and then South Carolina on the road at Auburn, and finish up at Texas A&M. Over and under is at 9. I'm going to go with a push.
Who are we doing again? Who are we doing?
LSU.
LSU
at 9. Comrade, go ahead.
9.5 over and under?
No, 9.
Oh, 9 is.
Yep, that's why I push.
Okay, so look, I'm a little bit higher at LSU than you guys. Well, you are for sure, Rob. You think they're going to go crappy. They're going to probably lose to Bama. That's 1.
Right.
Man,
I don't think going crappy is a 9-win season.
I think you think they're going to go. I mean, not you, but a lot of people think that they're the one-hit wonder and they're going to be awful this year, like an 8-4. I'm trying to think. 9 is the over and under. Boy, so they don't beat Bam, I don't think.
Right.
At Florida, let's just say they lose that game. That's 2. At Auburn, maybe they lose at 3. Then I'll probably go push. If you gun to my head, I had to pick over and under though. Man, I don't know. But I think they're a 9-3 team. I'm going to go push.
Well, and the reason that I think that LSU is going to drop off, I want to make sure I put this out here. They had 16 guys go to the NFL Combine. They're losing 16 guys. Now, I know that is a huge number.
Yeah.
And I know that they recruit well, okay? And I'm not shitting on LSU. They were the best team in college football last year. It's just when you lose that much talent, you can't just sit here and say, oh, well, we're going 12-0. You lose that much talent and you lose your offensive coordinator or your passing game coordinator and the Heisman Trophy winner, you're going to dip a little bit. We don't know what the hell kind of quarterback they've got. So we'll figure it out, but I got them at 9. I think that's a push. What do you got, Cale?
I'm going with the push on them as well. I think the road games at Florida and then at Auburn are both really tough. That could go either way. Of course, Auburn brings back what's the quarterback's name? Bo Nix.
Oh, Bo Nix.
Sophomore. They did a pretty good job last year. I think Auburn's on the upswing a little bit, even though they didn't have a particularly good showing in their bowl game. So I'm gonna go with a push on the schedule. You got some tough road games in there, and then the matchup against Texas in week 2 is a home game. Is Ellinger coming back? Is he back again?
Yeah, Texas has the majority of their team back.
That could be tough. That was a good game last year. They played the best team in the country. What it ended up being really tough there for a while. So that could be a tough one for them too. Why does this game say versus Rice in Houston? Rice is in Houston. How is that a neutral site game?
They're probably playing in the Deshaun Watson Dome, probably.
Did I?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That house that Clowney built.
Yeah.
Anyway. Up next.
Flooring by David Butts, LLC.
God damn. God damn. Auburn's at 9. Kale, you go first so I can compose myself. Schedule for Auburn. Alcorn State. Anybody know the best quarterback to come out of Alcorn State?
I do.
Yes, you do. North Carolina on the road in Atlanta. That's a neutral site game. Ole Miss in Oxford, Southern Miss at Auburn, Kentucky at home, Georgia on the road, Texas A&M at home, Mississippi State on the road, Arkansas at home, UMass at home, LSU at home, Alabama on the road.
What's the number on them?
9.
Gosh,
LSU, Bama.
They're always just really hard to figure out. I think they lose to Alabama in a revenge situation there. I think that they lose. They probably lose at Georgia.
It's tough.
These other ones are manageable, though. The LSU game at home is manageable. I think it all kind of hinges on that. If I had to give you my best case scenario here, I would go with a push on the schedule. And the September 12th game against North Carolina and Atlanta, it could be a tough one for Auburn. I don't think North Carolina has the physicality to match up with them, but at the skill positions, North Carolina's pretty good. So I could see an upset there, although it's not likely. The rest of those games, though, are manageable on that schedule. So I'm going with a push on that.
Mike, what do you got? 9?
So 9's the over and under. So I don't see him losing 3 games. I see him losing to Bama. I don't see him losing to both LSU and Georgia. I think they split those 2. That's 2 losses. I don't see, I can see the Tar Heels maybe give them a tough game. We all know their 2-point conversion play calls suck, so they'll probably lose in the end of that one. I see them 10-2. I don't see him losing 3 games. I think they go 10-2.
I'm going to say something that I think may shock the comrade here. I'm taking the under, and the reason that I'm taking the under is because of Chad Morris. Yes, the Chad Morris that certain people love so much.
I forgot about Chad's in there. Offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
I might go under too. I'm changing mine under. I forgot about Chad Morris. Sorry, they're going 6-6. 6-6.
All right, see, now you're being a smart ass.
I'm being a smart ass. I changed it up. Losing to the Tar Heels, losing to Ole Miss, A&M, Arkansas, losing to Arkansas. Arkansas will beat them. 6-6. I go the under.
I'm taking the under, and I'll tell you why. Gus Malzahn, and he claims he's going to let Chad Morris call the offense. I think after game 2, when they play North Carolina, and if the offense sputters a little bit and they have some early season stuff there, Gus Malzahn is coaching for his life every year at Auburn. I think the egos are going to bounce back and forth a little bit, or Chad Morris is just not going to give a shit when Gus Malzahn starts calling plays, and he's not going to care. I think those two are going to butt heads, and I think Auburn's going to go 7-5 or 8-4. So give me the under.
Real quick, if Auburn loses to Arkansas, more than likely, I will probably tag a person in Facebook group named Nick Merritt when that happens. How upset will Nick Merritt be when I post that score?
You really should be messing with Nick. Nick Merritt is trying to save the world right now.
He's trying to save the world from a virus that he originally said was no big deal.
Up next,
I feel bad for this Malzahn guy. I mean, this Auburn fan base, I can't fucking stand. They shit on him every year. They're ready to fire this guy. And he's out there winning them 9-10 ball games every damn year. Every damn year. What I would not give to have a coach with a cool sweater vest who wins 9 or 10 ball games a year, beats your arch rival sometimes, yet they always want him gone.
He reminds me, it reminds me of Philip Fulmer in Tennessee. Hey, Vol. Hey, NASCAR Vol. Remember that? You guys got sick of Philip Fulmer? Oh, we expect more. Let's spread them out. How'd that turn out? What are you still paying like 6 coaches? How many head coaches are you still paying their contracts on? I've lost count.
Yeah, I mean, all it took to get rid of him was to lose to Wyoming. To get rid of Lyle, it took going 0-8 in the SEC. Who knows what it'll take to get rid of this asshat they got
now? Balls on forehead.
I have this picture here, gentlemen, and I'm going to share it with the group
Uncle
here.
Lou.
And as soon as I share it from Uncle Lou,
Uncle Lou reminds Vol fans of the loss to Wyoming. I don't personally remember it because I don't pay that close attention to Vol history, but apparently it did happen.
Comrade, I'm going to make you a deal. Okay, make you a deal on this. If Auburn loses to Arkansas, I will buy Nick Merritt a set of these fine things that I'm fixing to show everybody right here. There you go. Yep, I will buy him a set. Let's see. Yeah, it's going to show up here of Peyton Manning tea bags. Yes, you can get some Peyton Manning tea bags. There you go, Comrade. That's a real thing. Look at the picture, buddy.
There you go.
I will buy them for Nick Merritt if Arkansas can beat Auburn this season.
There you go.
I don't know why that's still so funny to me. Comrade, write that down. I'm buying tea bags, Peyton Manning tea bags if Arkansas wins over Auburn. Up next, Mississippi State, the Pirate. Is he going to win 7 games in his first season? His schedule looks like this. New Mexico at home, North Carolina State on the road, Arkansas in Starkville, Tulane in Starkville, Texas A&M in Starkville. Then the season gets tough. 3 straight games, Alabama on the road, LSU on the road, followed by Auburn at home, Mizzou in Starkville, followed by a trip to Lexington, then Alabama A&M, and the Egg Bowl. 7 wins. Looking at that schedule, I like the Pirate, but the more and more I look at that schedule, they may win 1 game after October 10th. It's not out of the realm to think that they could win 1 game, that being just Alabama A&M. I'm going to take the under. I think he wins 6 games in his first year. What do you got, Cale?
I'm going to go with a push on him. I see losses against Auburn, LSU, Alabama, that 3-game stretch there. Just for the sake of decent measure, I say loses to Texas A&M, but that could go either way because they're really underwhelming. It all kind of hinges to me on that Ole Miss game. Is this Plumlee kid? I mean, is he clicking by then, or is he injured? I mean, I don't know. I mean, we don't know what kind of season they're going to end up having. I think they win at Kentucky. I think they beat Missouri. I think they're going to have a good season. North Carolina State on the road, Tulane at home, New Mexico, non-conference schedule, pretty damn easy. I take it. I'm going with 7 wins on the schedule. He got himself in a little bit of trouble past couple of days too. Did you see that?
Did you see the picture? Did you actually see the picture, Cale?
Yes, I saw it, and I saw it on Facebook a couple of days ago, around the same time. I'm like, okay. I mean, I thought it was funny. I mean, she's at home with her husband for so many days. I'm ready to kill him. People are too sensitive these days. They really are. You have to just watch every damn thing that comes out of your mouth or everything you tweet or
See, here's the thing, though. If he did that at Washington State, nothing happens. I really think I said this before. I just don't think his act is going to play in the SEC. I just don't. It's a different kind of how it is down here, and I think that's kind of the first sign. They're not going to the bowl this year. I think they're losing. It wouldn't shock me off to NC State. Okay, I'll give them a win there, but it wouldn't shock me. They're losing to A&M, Bama, LSU, and Auburn. That's 4 losses right there. Missouri, Kentucky. I mean, they probably split there, and they'll probably lose to Ole Miss. He doesn't do really well against his rivals. He's not known about in rivalry games real well either. Now, granted, he's kind of played Washington back in the day, but.
And when he was at Texas Tech, I mean, he was getting fucked by everybody.
Yeah, so he's not. That's the other thing too. Like when Gamecock fans who want him, I know there's some people that want to leech here. He has a history of not really stepping up, beating the rival. I think they go. I wouldn't shock me to go 4-8 this year. And of course, Rob and I have a bet that they'll win more games than the Gamecocks this year. I feel good about that. I feel good about that bet. I feel really good about that.
What did we bet on that?
I forgot. We have a bet. I forgot what the bet is, but we have the bet. What's that?
When he was at Texas Tech.
What's that?
His rivals slapped him around when he was at Texas Tech. Texas used to smoke.
He did pretty good. He did pretty good in bowl games though. Dragged nuts across one ACC team. I remember.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. He did drag nuts.
Barry.
Lisa.
What? I'm right. Kale's got my joke gave Kale the corona. Kale corona. Mike, we got to figure out what we're going to bet on that before the season.
We got to figure out what to figure. Hopefully the season actually happens. But I feel good. Look at the schedule now. Because I thought their schedule was a lot worse than that, and I was a little bit worried. But their schedule, but that LSU, Auburn, Bama, that's 3 losses there. I think A&M beats them. Missouri, Kentucky can beat them.
You're looking at it from the perspective that South Carolina is going to be good, which means I've already won.
The Gamecocks win 6 games, at least 6 games. So
next is Ole Miss at 5.5. Lane Kiffin's first season in Oxford. Will he be on probation by the end of the season? I like Lane Kiffin, but he's a shithead. They play Baylor in Houston, followed by Southeast Missouri in Oxford, Auburn in Oxford, then LSU, Alabama. So their 3 toughest games are right there in September. He may lose the fan base if they get thumped in all those games. Then the schedule goes with Vandy, Florida, then UConn, Texas A&M, Arkansas in Fayetteville. That might be the SEC win that Arkansas gets this year. Who knows? Georgia Southern in Oxford, followed by Mississippi State. I like Lane Kiffin a lot, but that schedule is horrendous. Give me the under. I got him at 4 wins in his first season.
I'm not a big fan of Lane Kiffin. I will say this, though. I think his success will come early in his career at Ole Miss. He tends to do the opposite. Most coaches build up as they build a program. He starts off well. He gets his players to play for him. The problem is that over time, that culture and his recruiting methods, they all end up kind of biting him in the ass. I think he gets into play. I think he has a good year this year. I think he has the type of year this year where you go, see, I knew the Gamecocks should have got him. A lot of Gamecock fans are like, I knew we should have got Lane Kiffin. I think it's a good year this year. I think he goes to a bowl game this year. I think he pulls some upsets this year. I can see him going, I can see him going 7-5 or 8-4. I can. And I think then there'll be a steep decline afterwards.
What do you got,
Over.
Kale?
I'm going over.
All right.
I think I'm telling you, I like this kid. I like this quarterback. If you ever seen this kid play, I mean, he's really, really good. And I think that I think he's going to.
Kale, real question. Doesn't he have he doesn't really have the ability to complete a forward pass is what I remember about him. He's fast as fuck, but he can't throw the ball, right?
Well, okay. Well, I'll give you that.
Why you gotta be so picky, Rob?
I just expect my quarterback to throw the ball. I'm sorry, Kale.
That's only part of a quarterback's job.
I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that they win the opener against Baylor. I mean, that's all. That team was all Matt Rule. I think they'll go back to being mediocre now that he's gone.
And we talked about Auburn, never know what Auburn to be. It wouldn't shock me if they upset Auburn. That I could see them upsetting Auburn, being Lane Kiffin arrived, and all the game fans who hate Muschamp who went to Kiffin. I told you, see, it could be us. But I'm willing to take the bullet this year. I think Ole Miss is going to have a good year this year. And Lane Kiffin, the Lane Kiffin lovers will be like Wendy Y, who loves Lane Kiffin, should be yapping about it. But then by year 3, you're like, oh, thank God. Thank God.
I'd love to see them pull this upset on October 17th and beat Florida in Oxford. Nothing would put a bigger smile on my face.
All right. So final game that we have picking the SEC over and unders, ladies and gentlemen, is Arkansas at 3.5. Let's look at the Razorback schedule. They play Nevada in Fayetteville, then go to South Bend to play Notre Dame, followed by Mississippi State at home or on the road. I'm sorry. Then they play Texas A&M in Arlington, Charleston Southern in Fayetteville. And they they welcome in Alabama and then LSU, a bye week. And then they get Tennessee and Auburn, followed by Ole Miss, Louisiana, Monroe. And then they go to Kansas City to play Mizzou. 3.5 wins. Everybody loves this Sam Pittman guy down there. And they're all enamored with Felipe Franks. I just don't buy that Felipe Franks is going to be a better quarterback at Arkansas than he was at Florida with Dan Mullen as basically the quarterback guy down there. Yeah, he's going to go to Arkansas in a rebuild mode and be a better quarterback. I'm not buying that.
That they won 10 games Dan Mullen's first year with Felipe Beans and Franks quarterbacking the team.
And that's a valid point, Cale, but I think that's more on the coaching staff than Felipe Franks. I'm not really sold on Franks at all. I'm going to take Arkansas at 3 wins. I think they'll beat Charleston Southern, Louisiana Monroe, and Nevada. Cale, are you taking the over here?
Where do you see Nevada? Are they playing Nevada in the opener or Kent State? Mine says Kent State.
Playing Nevada. I got Nevada.
I've got Nevada in Fayetteville. That's who I've got them playing, Cale.
Well, we need to know because it's very important.
I got Nevada too.
Okay. I think I take the over on them. I think they win those 3 games, the Nevada or Kent State, whoever it is. UL Monroe and Charleston Southern. And they win a game on the SEC schedule somewhere. Either they pull the upset against the Pirates in Starkville. I could see them beating Tennessee, which I already talked about. I could see them knocking off Ole Miss. I could see them winning at Missouri to end the year. I also in week 2, I could see for some reason I see them going to Notre Dame and giving this bunch a tough game. And Notre Dame is they're just meh. Notre Dame has been known to play down to the competition in home games,
especially against Clemson
on NBC with 2:00 starting times in the past.
All right, Comrade, what have you got?
I have them going 5-7. I'm guaranteeing right now, as Cale just kind of alluded to, he kind of stole some of my thunder. They are beating the Irish in week 2. They're beating the Irish in week 2 and winning 1 SEC game. Okay, hopefully it's against Auburn. Okay, because I can laugh. 1 SEC game, Notre Dame, and they're winning those other games there against Charleston Southern and all that stuff. 5-7. Okay, and Arkansas on the rise. addition by subtraction. Got rid of the Chad.
Yep. So there's our SEC over and under picks as we have them here for you on the Rob Comrade and Kale show. We will do the ACC games on Sunday when we have our next show. I think one of my bold predictions for the SEC is I think Gus Malzahn is going to be gone. And once South Carolina gets rid of Will Muschamp, that's going to be the first person mentioned is Gus Malzahn. They're going to try to bring him here. He'll cut Chad Morris loose, and he's going to come in and lead the Gamecocks and probably bring them back to respectability. I think Gus Malzahn's a pretty good coach. I like him because Kale was talking about the sweater vest. I'm making another proclamation on the show tonight. If Gus Malzahn ends up being the South Carolina head coach, I'm buying a sweater vest for Kale Hall with whatever god-awful logo on it.
That's
I want to see Kale in a sweater vest.
We saw Chris Driver in one earlier today.
No, but
Yes,
that was
a very small one.
sweater vest. I mean, I'm going to get Kale a legit South Carolina sweater vest.
I'm going to get you a Christmas one. Match Chris Driver's.
Kale's tired of our shit. He is tired of our shit. Do you guys have anything else to add to this week's show?
That's it.
I want to add about 10 sizes to that sweater vest.
I'm gonna post that picture in the
that
Facebook
thing
group.
like a thong.
I'm gonna post the picture in there and get him riled up. He'll keep Rob up all night tonight. Messaging you. That's
crazy. All right, gentlemen. With that, this show is a wrap. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. NASCAR Vol's got a Tennessee sweater vest. Good for him. All right, Kale. Thanks.